Baby, listen to the speaker. No matter what, just let it fly.
Pop, Perswayable. What's going on, boo-boos? The game got launched, and I'm going to tell you, in my opinion, one of the most clutch, best survivor perks in the game. And yes, I actually believe that it is Spine Chill. We're going to have a good discussion about this. I'm going to talk about why I think Spine Chill is one of the best perks for both new players and veterans. Not only does it allow you to see if the killer is looking in your general direction and if they're coming your way, but it also gives you a slight boost to your vaulting speed when somebody is looking at you, right? As well as your repairing speed, your healing, your vaulting, your cleansing, your opening the gate. That's helped me so many times. So, how can you tell if a killer is coming after you? Well, look at the top right-hand corner. You see that ability, Spine Chill. When that starts to activate, that's how you know a killer is coming your way. Now, that comes in clutch through walls, through anything. It doesn't have to be a direct line of sight. You could be behind a wall, and they could be coming towards your general direction. Now, the thing is that there is a way that some killers try to counter this, and that is that they'll moonwalk, all right? And they'll try to moonwalk so your Spine Chill doesn't activate. Most killers don't do this, though. Not at least yet. They may do that on PC, but in this version, by turning your back and trying to moonwalk, there's a lot of situations where a survivor will completely lose you, all right? So I really like Spine Chill. There's going to be a lot of content creators and YouTubers who will tell you that other perks are better. They're not wrong. This is just an opinion, right? We all do our best. Everybody does their best to teach the players, or at least provide their opinions as to why they believe what they believe. What I can tell you as a rank 1 survivor is that I use Spine Chill on almost all of my builds. You could make the argument that you might not need Spine Chill as much on mobile because a lot of the killers do have a red indicator for you. All right, but Spine Chill is not just a one-trick pony. You're not just using this in order to see where the killer is at. You're also using this so when the killer is tunneling you, it can help you with your vault speed, even if it's only a little bit. All right, now here's the thing. There are other great perks. There are other great perks out there, and I might do a video on that as well. All right, those include perks such as Borrowed Time and other perks such as Decisive Strike. There's a multitude of perks out there. You have exhaustion perks, which you can only carry one, or you should only carry one, and that helps you get a little bit of a sprint bonus on various different variables that activate it, or circumstances that activate it. Okay, here's the thing though. All right, most of the perks that you choose in this game has a consequence. All right, so when you have Decisive Strike, all right, that essentially means that if you get hooked and then the camper or the killer is camping you, or even if he's not, and you get off the hook and then he downs you, when he picks you up, you have a chance to escape from his grasp, all right? Or there's other good perks such as Borrowed Time, all right, where you go in for a rescue, and if it's within the killer's terror radius, all right, if they're camping, and they hit the survivor that you rescue, then they get an orange indicator, okay? There'll be YouTube videos on all that. That's not the point of this video. The thing about those perks, okay, is that they have to have there has to be certain circumstances for those to work. If you have an aggressive killer that puts you on the hook and walks away, you're not going to be able to use your Decisive Strike. Your Borrowed Time isn't always going to be useful. That doesn't mean that they're not great perks. It just means that they're not always utilized in a game. All right. When you look at other ones like other perks, a lot of these perks are circumstantial. All right. To a degree, even some of the exhaustion perks are. All right. You have Dead Hard. You have Urban Evasion. Well, that's not an exhaustion perk, right? I shouldn't have said Urban Evasion. I meant to say Balanced Landing. Okay. The thing with Spine Chill though is that Spine Chill is always used. It's always good. It's something that you can always depend on. It is something that you can always utilize. And that is why it's one of my favorite perks. There's nothing more frustrating than when you have a lot of these circumstantial perks and then you go 4 or 5 games without actually using any of them. And so that's actually one of the reasons why I actually like Spine Chill, and I think that it's also not spoken about a lot, is that not only will Spine Chill help you when a killer is looking in your direction, okay, but it is something that you can always use. It is one of the few good perks that will never be useless. In every match, you will have its fullest potential or near full potential using it. That is where the value of this perk is. That's why when I see other people using all these fancy perks and whatnot, there's nothing wrong with that. I do it too when I want to have fun. But when you're talking about a perk that you can always utilize, that's always there for you, that can comfort you, like the little children that we are, this is this is the perk that I like to use, all right? I use it on mostly all my builds. I think that there's a lot of Myers, there's a lot of stealthy characters, and this really allows you to get in position, especially if you're a new player. There's nothing, trying to learn how to loop and kite in this game is going to be a pain in the ass. And having this will at least give you a fighting chance. This will give you a fighting chance where at least you can get in position and maybe throw that pallet down. Even if you throw it down too early, which we don't always like. In this game, the hitboxes can be tremendously off, all right? So that's why I like Spine Chill. Spine Chill is a great perk. Now, another thing that I would like to talk about in regards to Spine Chill is I haven't really talked too much about this in a specific video yet, but there are times where you and another survivor will be on a generator. And if that killer runs after that other survivor, you have to learn how to play aggressive. Because if you just run away from that generator as well, the generator's not going to get done. You're wasting a whole bunch of time, okay? What's good about Spine Chill is that if the killer starts to run away or he starts kind of looking around, when you're doing your generator, you're going to, it allows you to play more aggressively. It allows you to play more aggressively. And that's very important because I can't tell you how many matches come down to, you know, that last 10 or 15% on that generator, depending on who you're playing with and what that sort of chemical makeup is. Now, some veteran players will tell you that when you get really good at the game, you don't need Spine Chill. And I'm not saying that they're wrong. I'm just saying that nothing sucks more than going against a really good killer. Especially if they're using a killer like Ghostface, they're using a killer like Michael Myers, or they're using a killer with monitor and abuse that reduces their terror radius and they get really close to you, okay? So even if you're really good, a good player, this still comes in clutch. There's always going to be those games where you go against insanely good killers, and that early game positioning can make or break your entire kite session. It really can. Whether you, I mean, you go. I mean, I'm a rank 1 killer. I've played beta. I've played against all of the best survivors. I think a lot of them will attest to it. That if I catch you off guard, you're done. You know, that's just how the game is. The game really relies on survivors making a lot of mistakes, and as well as hunters or killers playing mind games. When you have Spine Chill, that is substantially harder for me to do. It's one of the most annoying perks that I have to deal with when I am a rank 1 killer. And it's one of the, believe it or not, all of this footage is rank 1 footage. And so it's just showing you different various aspects to my kiting game or my looping game. However, I really want to let everybody know that I use Spine Chill on pretty much every build. You know, sometimes I get a little cocky and I don't. But right now, we don't know what the meta of this computer, or rather this mobile game, is going to be. We don't know if people are going to get away from the Spirit. Well, Spirit will probably still be used. But we don't know if people are going to get away from the Nurse, the Spirit, the Hillbilly, because they all have red indicators. I know you guys are saying this guy is crazy, right? But we don't know if the meta is going to change because the mobile platform is a completely different platform. I have a video on why this is different from PC. But the one thing in common with PC is that there are a lot of notable streamers and content creators who even on the PC say Spine Chill is one of the best perks in the entire game. And I agree with it. It definitely carries over to mobile. And I'm going to use this on every build. I recommend you guys doing it as well. Do it for the first, I'd say 200-300 hours, so you can learn really the game, the map, the layout. Because if you're new to the game, you're not going to know any of that. Even if you're from PC, it'll help you on mobile, just because you're going to get used to how the maps typically are. The random generator isn't as severe, and it can make or break your game, and then you can decide whether you want to remove it or not. I still use it just because I don't ever want to be the one that dies first on my team. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, this is my favorite survivor perk. I use it on all my builds because of that 100% consistency, whereas a lot of the other perks, you have to worry about circumstances that activate it, whereas in this, I can use it all the time in all builds, in all games. Anyways, thank you so much for the love and support. The channel's growing like crazy. We appreciate it, guys.